Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nuuli Forged. We are a bunch of homebrew D&D players. We're playing in our crazy world of post-apocalyptic magic and monsters. Ta-da! I don't know, I just ran with that off the top of my head. With me tonight are 4 out of 5 of our glorious misfits. Let's go around and introduce yourselves.
In fact, we have all misfits. We're just missing Greg.
It's true. Why don't
the leader.
Yes, the de facto leader. Go around, introduce yourself, your character, tell us what level you are, because you all leveled up, and tell us what your character is going to do, what your character would like to accomplish in this Verdenton Glen, and what your first impressions are.
I've already forgotten why we're here.
Yeah. Well, let's start up in the corner here with Mike.
Bear back.
Hello, my name is Mike. I play Defect level
His dinner
9,
arrived.
Warforged Barbarian. And
Arcanaton.
Yes. And let's see. I think Defect is a very general guy. Like, he's not about the specifics. So generally, he wants to just save the world.
Is that really what Defect wants, or is that what Mike wants?
Why not both? I mean, it feels like, sometimes Defect and I are one and the same. So, yeah, let's save the world.
All right. Cool. I dig it. Moving right along to below me, we have Sarah.
Hey, that's me. My name is Sarah, and I play Olive, the half-orc moon druid. And Olive is here in the Verdenton Glen, and she is sort of interested in. We're here about these shards, and she's very much interested in the basis of them, and if they are really calling to people, or if people are just searching that hard. Basically, like if they are some kind of beacon, or if they're just people are just looking that hard. So far, her first impression is that it's a confusing place.
Fair enough. And moving on to the happily just fed Tanner.
Not just fed. I haven't even started yet.
Just served. How about that?
That works.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tanner. I'm playing Adis, the Human Ranger. Level 9, but 6 in Ranger, 3 in Rogue. Now Scout Rogue.
Ooh.
Yeah, because Adis hates close quarters combat.
You don't say.
What was the question? What we thought of the Verdenton Glen?
Yeah.
Why we're there? What we're hoping to accomplish.
What you're hoping to accomplish and what you think of it.
Find more out about the storms, possibly if they have any knowledge on the gems, or like where we might find them. And maybe more of just what happened over time, if they have any knowledge of that.
Very cool. And last but not least for this evening, hopping up into this corner, we've got a long-lost Matt.
Yay!
Hello, I am now found Matt, and I'm playing Spoot, and I'm only level 8.
No, you're level 9.
I'm just teasing. Just torturing my DM. I'm also level 9. Yeah, the Verdenton Glen.
You haven't really experienced it yet as a player, but
it's a place. We're here.
He has no idea why we're here.
We're in it now. This is where it is. Yeah. Oh, what do I want to accomplish? I don't know. Probably keep everyone alive. That's my usual goal.
Diplomacy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
Olive would also like to talk to some sheep, if possible.
I feel like I've fallen off the diplomacy a little bit in recent episodes, so maybe Spoot needs to do some soul searching.
That's not your fault. That's mine.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Tanner, not always diplomatic.
No.
That's all right.
But also rampaging Bulette's not an opportunity.
Ives Got It has just rejoined the party, subscribing at tier 1 for 9 months. We've
Holy
got
shit.
a Nuuli baby.
shit.
It has been birthed. Thank you, Ives Got It. You're the best, my friend. Our
We've
greatest
had
mod.
subscribers for 9 months. Good lord.
Yes, we've got Ives Got It. We've had for 1. So yeah. So thank you, Ives Got It. It's always good to see you. You're the best mod in all of Twitch because you're our mod, and that makes you the best. Very cool. And indeed, we do not have Amber this evening. Real life has taken her away from us. And I am Jared, your humble dungeon master here on Nuuli Forged, where I wrangle these crazy folks and have them interact with a world that reacts back to them. So, it's fun. Let's get into it with a little bit of a recap, and we'll figure out what's going on.
With my camera.
It's a constant struggle. Someday, we will see your glorious face for the full episode again.
We saw him for a few minutes. That's more than we
did.
have in weeks.
Yeah, it was good times. Well, last time here on Nuuli Forged, our heroes battled some fairly insulted and perturbed minotaurs, weathered days of rain, including a flash flood, where they almost lost their magical tent. Luckily,
So rude.
Olive was able to save the tent before it was washed away completely. And after days of hard, wet travel, the party emerged from the boundaries of the glimmering void, and thereafter met a traveler named Thaddeus Moonstrider, who told them that the Verdenton Glade was, the Verdenton Glen was not far off. A week or so later, they arrived, had an awkward interaction with their first set of elves that they met, and after being brusquely rebuked, a half-elven man who identified himself as Chazarian Erasmus Combastus Tripoli, or Chatty to his friends, took interest in the party and offered his consulting services to them for a fee. Deciding to take him up on the offer, the party followed him to the Hopeful Reside, the local inn, and have engaged his services, which is where we pick up this week. So, as you are all in this inn, there's a few kind of different sort of people milling about. A lot of humans, a couple of other folk. There is the larger, older man, human man, kind of a rotund fella, the barkeep here, whose name is Bongo, that you have met. And you see his partner is running around serving drinks to people as well, who you've heard named Playa. And as this cacophony kind of surrounds you, you all have just hired the services of the individual across the table from you. A half-elf with sort of anime-style kind of blonde, uppy hair. Kind of
like Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, kind of like chunky spikes, like Demona or something from Gargoyles. He's got a well-fitted green and blue suit kind of thing going on. He has a healthy, tanned complexion, big, ready smile. And he's got his hair kind of just up and back per normal. And you know that he is kind of absently twirling an ebony walking stick that he has obviously just uses for show while he's drinking the ale that you have already purchased him and have agreed to hire him. So he leans forward and, well, so, right then, since you've hired me services, what is the best way to go about this? Obviously, you'll be needing a bit of a cultural expose, a crash course, if you will, on the local elven population, won't you?
It's a good place to start.
Very well. The first thing you got to know as to how to greet an elf. You see, if you don't say hello to an elf properly, they'll just ignore you because they'll assume you're not talking to them. It's a bit of a trick, you see. For example, you may have noticed that when you approached those elves when you came into the glen, they said, "I see you. I see you, traveler." And only 2 of you responded. Mr. Atis over here and little Greg down there. And since they were the only 2 that responded, they're the only 2 the elves would interact with. If you don't respond with an "I see you" in kind, the elves, I'm afraid they won't be thinking much of you, and so they'll assume you'll be wanting to be left alone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, this can
I
be...
assume if you can't see them, you must be blind?
No. If you don't respond to "I see them" or "I see you," they will think that you do not want to be disturbed, and so they will leave you well enough alone.
I see.
They view it as an invasion of privacy to attempt to talk to someone who has not acknowledged that they have been seen.
Can I have that in real life? Thank you.
Now, this can be a bit tricky if you don't know someone's name, as you might imagine. So you have to think of it as something like saying to the wind or to the open air, if you'd be thinking of it that way. Something along the lines of, "I would be honored to see a new individual if one were looking to speak with I," and say your name. It's a sort of roundabout way of introducing yourself to someone you don't know, who hasn't introduced themselves to you.
Sorry, could you say that last bit again? The advice on introducing yourself.
Sure. If you don't be knowing someone's name, but you want to talk to them, you can try it by saying something along the lines of, "It would be an honor to meet someone new today if they were interested in speaking with someone such as myself."
Oh, I see.
Something akin to that.
It would be an honor to meet someone new today if they would what?
It would be an honor to be seen by someone today if they would be interested in seeing someone. Essentially, it's a way of opening up the floodgates to allow any elf who might be in range of you to answer your question with, "I see you there, stranger." If you throw your name in, it helps them out a lot. Now, as you might have gathered from this bit of information, the elves are a bit prickly. You have to understand. These elves up here in the Verdentious Causeway, they live quite a long time, you see. Much longer than your average elf, who are already fairly long-lived. So, they feel like they've got nothing but time in the world, so they are not in any hurry to accomplish most tasks, unlike the rest of us, if you know what I mean. Because they have so much time, they spend it in pursuits of their own choosing quite often. Many of them figure themselves masters of conversation, and as such can spend days talking about the weather as it's changing. The weather's a popular topic.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, aye.
Professional procrastinators?
Oh, it's not procrastination. It
Just
is
people that value their time.
It is purposeful investment in the now.
I can
Right.
appreciate that.
Perhaps these are people we might choose not to see.
Well,
There's
it's sort of a
always
cultural thing, so you might, if you want to be getting a hold of any sort of information out of them, you best be prepared to do a bit of bandy talk, if you know what I mean. Now, topics that elves really like to talk about, there are the weather. Tea is a very popular thing. If you be liking tea, that can be an in for you. If you're a fan of art or know anything about poetry or literature, or maybe if you know anything about maybe throwing pottery, every elf has some sort of artistic talent that they've gone in, invested time in. And I'm talking hundreds of years. You have to understand. There are potters in the elven communities that are masters of their craft and have storerooms filled with beautiful works of art that will never see the light of day because they are not perfect enough. The tiniest flaw will ruin an entire project for an elf. Because they have so much time, they figure if they're going to do it, they're going to do it right.
Perfect being the enemy of good.
That's up for debate, I suppose. But they do strive towards perfection.
I mean, if you have so long, then why not?
Precisely. Now you're getting it, my friend. The other cultural big thing you got to know about these elves in the Verdenton Glen is they're not big fans of questions. Direct questions especially are considered quite rude. Asking a direct question is the equivalent of demanding an answer. And making a demand is the height of rudeness.
So you have to beat around the bush with everything.
Oh, aye, that you do. For example, you couldn't ask somebody, "How are you today?" Like in a normal conversation between you and I, such as we are having here. Now, if you want to find out how an elf is doing, you got to be asking him something along the lines of, "Today being such a bright and shining day, it would be good to know that one around me was feeling pleasant." If they were willing to share such information. Aye, that's the face I be expecting. As you can see, it takes a bit of work to get around to getting the information you want.
I can see that they why their conversations take so long.
All right. It's very hard to have a direct one. However, there is one option for a direct question-filled conversation with an elf. But I don't think you'd be wanting to go that route.
Does it involve swords?
Oh, aye. They call it war manners. When the elven communities are in a state of war, time is considered of the essence, and so the niceties of civilized society are dropped. And then you may ask direct questions. However, that does involve a declaration of war by the elves, and I don't think you'd be wanting to get on their bad side.
Mm-mm.
Now, as I was saying...
Definitely not.
Oh, smart man. Now, as I was saying... Oh, seems my drink has run dry. How sad. It's always so sad when that happens, don't you think?
Yeah, your accent changes when that happens.
Hey, give Jared a break, you little fuck.
Just teasing. That was not a character. Yeah, who's
Oh,
the
it's
first
sad when the cup runs empty.
It's amazing he's had time to drink it with all the talking he's doing.
He drank most of it before he started giving you information.
I'm gonna say I'm wondering if someone's already made a move. If not, Spoot will kind of awkwardly like wave at bartender.
I paid for the first round.
You did.
Spoot owes me some money, so.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
Bongo sees you and indicates that he's got it. And a few minutes later, where your friend Chatty here talks about anything except more information that might be the elves. He talks about other things until his cup is refilled. It's 3 silver for another, 3 gold for another round of 6 ales.
I bought drinks for the table. I hope not all 6 ales for Chatty.
Well, did you just indicate Chatty, or did you indicate?
Oh,
everybody?
I haven't touched my ale.
Okay, well, if you just indicated him, then it's only 5 silver.
I guess it depends on who needs a drink. I don't imagine Spoot's made it very far.
Yeah, Defect's not drinking.
Okay, just 5 silver.
So 5 silver. So
I was like, wow, Chatty can drink.
Thin little Playa comes over and drops it all off and goes about his business. And Chatty takes a nice big healthy swig. That's much better. Now, as I was saying, tea is a very large part of the elven society. The capital of the Elfin realms here in the Verdentious Causeway is a mysterious place called Tir Ithal. Hi. And not many get to go that far. I've never been myself. But from every bit of information I've heard, it has vast tea plantations and an entire college dedicated to the arts of tea. So, if you were wanting to get in with some elves, presenting them with some newfangled tea might be a way to go. And there are devotees of it. No pun intended, of course. That spend decades trying to create the perfect plant, the perfect blend, and the perfect cup of the right tea. And they believe there's the proper tea for every moment of the day. The right mood, the right environment, the right weather. They have tea down to an art form, a science, nay.
Where might one get tea around here?
Oh, there might be a few there might be a few folks around. I might know a couple I might be able to introduce you to if I can remember who they are. But of course, that's a different arrangement than this cultural exchange we're having here. Now, a few more things you might be important for you to know. Don't go up to the tree line at the edge of the glen. You try to sneak through, you'll be caught by their guards. And the invisible sprite guard are quite nasty if provoked. Happy to leave well enough alone, but they are on constant watch. So be keeping your eyes open and your minds aware of that.
What are they guarding? The trees?
The borders of the Elven lands, aye.
So the Elven lands are the entirety of the forest.
Oh, that there is. We're actually in them now. But they've opened up this glen to outsiders for whatever purposes the elves might have. Diplomatic, economic, cultural exchange.
Right. And if we were to try to seek an audience with someone who keeps their history or research, how would we go about getting there?
Well, that's an interesting bit of a nugget, you see. Anyone who be wanting to get anywhere with the elves first has to go through the trading emporium. It's that big building kind of built out of trees that have naturally grown together. It's called Ithal Fen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's run by a lovely elven woman named Halmatha Euristes. Anyway, she's the high clerk, if you will. But to get through her, you have to go through her other lower clerks. I happen to be knowing who her favored clerk is. An individual. Oh, not me now. I might be spending my time here, but I am not a member of the Thierry Ithal and Verdentious Causeway Elven Society. I am but a humble barterer of information and friend to all those who desire peaceful information. Besides, I like making new friends. And this place is always people coming and going. Lots of people come here.
All right, bet.
All right. Now, where was I? Oh, aye. The favored clerk happens to be someone I'm moderately acquainted with. They happen to go by the name of Poles Kimerani. Polses Kimerani.
Well,
Sorry?
can you spell that?
Polsess. Polses.
Mm-hmm.
Kimerani. Kimarani.
I actually spelled the first name right, which is impressive.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was debating between POLC and POLS.
Gotcha.
I wanted to spell Kimarani with a Q.
I mean, that's up to you. But that is not how they spell their name.
That's fair.
Anyway, I happen to know that Pulses is, their opinion be well regarded by Mistress Euristis. So, you get in right with them, you'll be getting a high chance of getting up to Halmatha herself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you've got yourself up with Halmatha, that's when you must convince her of the value of something you'd be willing to trade with the elves. It can be either monetarily valuable, or it can be cultural, informational, artistic, or something else unique to yourselves that you might be having.
Maybe they'd like to hear me play the bagpipes.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I think that would insult them.
They are big fans of music, so it's quite possible if you have a high enough skill or a strange enough song, they might be interested in it. You never can tell with an elf what they're going to find particularly valuable either. Might be something you don't think is worth much, but to them, because it's from somewhere else or rare in these parts, might be useful to them.
Fair enough.
Now, once Halmaltha okays you, she can set you up with one of the 4 main offices. There's the Office of Trade, Culture, Diplomacy, and Information. And once you by having one of those offices open up to you, the world be your oyster, lads and lassies.
Does that allow us inside of the Verdentous Causeway, or...?
Entry into the Verdentous Causeway is much more limited. However, if you have something high enough or you'll be asking information strange enough, it's possible they may allow you entry.
Right. Fair enough.
As I've said, I've never been to Tir Ithal myself, but I've heard that's quite amazing.
Now, Pulsis.
Aye.
How do we gain her favor?
Well, first off, Pulsis is not using the female pronouns.
Oh.
So they're kind of particular about that.
Right. Oof.
But they, ironically enough, do very fancy themselves and enjoy music to such a degree that they're known to wander the various campfires and overhearing the music that plays on the air around some of them. So, if that be something you are capable of.
Mm-hmm. I know a few Sylvan songs.
Oh, that might be doing a trick then. You might find yourself attracting more than elves with that kind of music.
I'd be quite used to that.
Oh,
If
I
that
just
doesn't
mean the
work,
Sprite
there's the
Guard.
bagpipes.
The Sprite Guard be fans of music themselves. Of course, the Sprite Guard, when they're off duty, been known to cause a bit of havoc amongst the trees.
The Sprite Guard, are they actually sprites?
Oh, aye. Small little things.
Can I do like a knowledge check?
Yeah. You can do either an Arcana or a Nature check on a Sprite. Your choice.
Hold on. I forget what favorite enemy does.
They are considered Fey if your favorite enemy is Fey, and it helps you at all.
Yeah. Okay, so I have advantage on intelligence checks to recall information.
Great.
All right, here we go. $22.
All
Yay,
right.
advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Glorious.
Big difference.
So with the 22 for Sprite information, You know that they are tiny winged creatures that are fey in nature. They usually have a connection to nature, specifically woodlands and grasslands. They speak common. They speak typically anyway. They speak common, Elvish, Sylvan. They are often warriors and protectors, but there are some others that do other things. Their culture is very orientated on the act of protection. So, like, when they discover a protectorate, they guard it very fiercely and very loyally. And it sounds from this conversation as though they've made an arrangement with the elves of Tiri Ethal to include the Verdentious Causeway in their protectorate. They can go invisible, and you know that they are able, or they possess an ability that allows them to figure out somebody's true bearing, their heart, like what the kind of heart that they have.
Okay. Anything about things that we should be concerned with if they fly into our camp?
They are
Just
known to work very hard and party very hard.
Fair enough. All
Do they
right.
bite?
I'm assuming
mean,
it's just tricks.
Sure.
Lots of tricks.
They're not so much mischievous.
Oh, okay.
As they are proud. Like, sprites tend to be proud.
Okay.
Yeah. They are similar to pixies in a lot of ways, but pixies tend to be the more mischievous sort. Or
Okay.
or the quicklings that you've met before.
Fuck those guys.
But yeah, that's what you recall about sprites.
Okay. Well, hopefully if maybe we can attract the right attention, things will go our way a lot quicker.
It is a good idea to get a few friends on your side. So, if you might, it's possible I could be persuaded to walk around with a guide from a friend of mine. Might walk by a certain point at a certain time. Give you the opportunity to make an introduction for yourself.
Does this guide have a name? Or is that for a price?
Well, you've paid for information. If you want other services, that's a horse of a different color, if you know what I mean.
What kind of horse? Because those got burned up by the Chimera.
Oh, that sounds quite tragic, and I'm sorry for your loss. But by this sort of horse, I mean the kind of horse that can get you in to see a clerk.
I'm confused. I'm asking about payment towards him.
Gotcha. Sorry, I thought you were talking about what he was going to do for you.
No. I meant like what kind of horse is this going to cost me?
Gotcha. Oh, I'm not a particularly greedy or stick it to him kind of fella. I think a modest fee of 20 gold, it'll make sure that I get the right person around at the right time. However, I only guarantee the introduction, or the chance of an introduction, I should say. It's up to you to prove yourselves interesting enough.
If we throw in a little bit of extra, would you tell us what generally strikes as interesting?
Why? The particular individual that we've been discussing, Paul says, is a fan of lively, spirited music. So, if that's something that you can arrange, that would go quite nicely. And if it's not something you have the skill on, for that additional fee, I could make sure some comes your way.
Right.
How do
I mean,
those bagpipes sound?
I have my flute that I can play Sylvan music on, but I have a wee bit of stage fright.
Well, there's not so
maybe
much
I
a
can
stage
hire-
around here. Most people just make camp outside around in the designated areas and play a variety of tunes throughout the night and through the evening. So
Right.
you have
No,
a good chance.
I'm more of a charisma's my dump stat kind of guy.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, but I find you quite charming.
That's the wisdom.
Oh, well. However it ends up being. And
The confidence is lacking.
And certainly, I must say, I feel confident that someone such as yourself, Mr. Aetus, could be of interest to these fine elven folk around the area. Not many humans come through this way with gold eyes.
Or a giant mark on their face.
Aye, that's an interesting bit of fashion you have.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Is it now? Well, hopefully a pleasant gift is it?
Yeah, it just comes with a duty.
Does it? Mind if I be asking what the duty be?
That might cost you.
Ha ha! I appreciate that. But as they say, there's a price for everything. In fact, the elves think that to be very true. However,
I assume
not
no exchange of
necessarily living.
information. Right, and I assume no exchange of information should be one-sided.
Aye, that's true. However, rumor has it that the elves view magical abilities as always coming with a cost as well.
No, I get that.
Aye. Not that they're against magic. In fact, they use it quite frequently.
I mean, it can be quite exhausting. I feel tired afterwards.
Aye, that's probably the most basic cost from what I understand. I don't know all the details yet. They keep a few things close to their chest, but I'm working on it.
I know Spoot has some spells that are actually some quite cost-heavy.
Oh, be that true, Mr. Spoot?
It is true. It is true. I haven't used all of them myself, but well, mostly because of the cost.
And what sort of cost be you talking about?
Oh, you know, the kind of thing that consumes valuable components.
Ah, I understand. I've heard of such things before. Never seen it myself.
Well,
Just don't die. Then we won't have to do it.
Oh, it's pretty safe around these parts.
That's good. That'll save us a diamond.
Aye. The elves and the sprite guard keep things pretty peaceful. It's one of the reasons I like staying.
That's good. We decided to take a trip through the Glimmering Void, and that was anything but.
Oh, I be very dangerous down in there.
Yeah, also magic is very weird in there.
I've heard tell. Not being gifted with the magical arts myself. I couldn't say I've experienced it, but then I've never gone there either.
Yeah, there's this spell that I know that's pretty basic. It kind of gives you a little bit more pep in your step for a little bit. I used it on our draft horses, and everybody turned invisible.
Really? That's quite an interesting bit of magic. But that wasn't your intent, you say?
No. Kind of caught me off guard.
Was it as if the wires were crossed, or were you also still quick?
We were still quick, but just invisible for like a minute. And then Olive just started screaming for some reason as well.
Oh, how very strange.
Yeah.
And then Greg was surrounded in butterflies for a while for no good reason.
Seems like a very strange and silly place. Very glad I've never been there.
Yeah,
and you're not selling it as a vacation destination either.
Nah.
So.
I
mean, leave well enough alone.
Giants,
I have a nice little life up here.
Chimeras, bugbears, ogres, trolls. Not prime real estate.
I think I'll be staying right here. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, I vote we don't travel home through there.
Is there another choice?
We can go through Bestville
Okay.
and just
Ah,
a long way around.
Bestville. Now there's a party town, if you know.
I've heard it's like a hunter trapper town kind of
Oh,
thing.
aye. Very rough and tumble, very aggressive and competitive in nature they are there.
That's why we have him.
But a
I'll
lot of
point to
fun.
Defect.
But if
Mr. Defect, you are a quiet one. And certainly quite
I've just
big.
been taking notes.
Just talk to him about ducks. He likes ducks.
Aye, be that true.
That is very true. I can read you poetry about ducks.
Poetry, you say? Well, there's another chance of an in for you, for the elves. I didn't know you were such a laureate yourself.
No, I keep that quiet about myself.
Well,
His rage fuels his creativity.
oh, I've heard of tell of such things. Creativity can stem from anywhere.
He is quite the artist with his battle axe.
Oh, that
It's
I
music
quite
to my
am
ear.
quite willing to believe. Just looking at the size and the shine of it, I'm sure it's quite deadly in your hands, Mr. Defect.
I
So the evening goes on. You've gotten most of the highlights that you're going to get out of him. Do you engage him to secure Polsess to come by an encampment or performance or somehow meet up with you? And if so, do you give him 20 gold or do you give him more to ensure that something interesting will be kindled in your area?
I'm not.
I vote for like trying to really secure it because none of us are very performance heavy. I mean, we're like
That's that plus
honestly,
0.
I have a -1. I still have inspiration, but I can't even bet on that. We're fucking rich, so I vote we just take like 30 or 40 out of the party funds. Because this is kind of like a party benefit.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Spoot's not a businessman. I don't think he would disagree with that necessarily, though.
Yeah, because this is not like I'm going shopping for myself. This is like a very cheap investing into probably a lot more.
Are we here?
Knowledge, information, more powerful rocks.
I mean, if we're here for information, it kind of seems like this is the way to get it.
Yeah. They might have powerful druid items, you don't know.
They might. Olive is flat broke, so she's not buying shit, and has been for some time. So
I mean, they might give us a task and give us something. We never know.
tasks are good.
So I mean, should we give him like 40 out of the party funds? I think like we're well off enough to afford that.
Oh, what's in the party funds? Who has the party funds?
Greg, but we have like
yeah.
6,000 gold or something like that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you haven't done much with Oligar's treasure trove that you ransacked a few months back.
Haven't.
Yeah, Greg is the banker. We're saving it for a rainy day, and I think 40 gold is fine to take.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to give him 40 gold.
Yeah, just like double it to like ensure.
Okay.
And Olive will promise not to play the bagpipes.
I mean, they might want it eventually. Maybe just not immediately. Same thing with my flute playing. It could natural 20, we don't know.
It could.
It could, but do we want to
Could
run
get-
the risk?
Could get some guidance. Is it safe to ask that Spoot was able to get some kind of passive insight check on him?
Yeah,
while
what's your
he was
passive
talking?
insight?
19. Baby
Chatty.
stuff.
Chatty is a very
Chatty Cathy.
yeah, like he doesn't hide too much. He's very open and very upfront and very honest in his dealings for the most part. You get the sense that he legitimately likes you for whatever reason as a group, and so he has decided to give you good information. You don't sense deception or ill intent from him. With a 19, you do get a couple times he kind of mentions that, you know, he's just happy to live here and meet people. You get the sense that there's something more to that, but not necessarily anything nefarious. Just that, you know, he's
got a family. We can break him that way.
But as far as you can tell, as he's talking, all of his laughs and smiles are genuine. And yeah,
He just likes to, turn a little profit on his skills, it seems.
yeah, you get the sense that it seems like he's like that kind of guy. He's like a fixer. Like he fixes whatever problems you might be having.
Okay.
For a small donation, of course.
Is this a charitable donation? Is this a write-off?
What you do on your taxes is your business.
I'm a cleric. I don't have to pay taxes.
Oh,
Oh.
ouch! It hurts because it's real.
I mean, we are rich, so also tax evasion.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh.
Money laundering.
But if
Cool.
we're traveling with a cleric, that doesn't,
So you give Chatty 40 gold. And he kind of like arches an eyebrow as though he wasn't expecting quite that much, but he's quite happily takes it. He immediately pulls out a little scroll, or little piece of paper, and like writes something on it and rolls it up and passes it over to you, Adis. Somebody just note that you have removed 40 gold from the party funds, so that is updated appropriately.
Yeah, I want to see if we can get Greg to, if we can get like a bag of holding tab, so that if Greg's not here, we can.
I'm sure that such things can be figured out.
we can get our stuff.
Yeah, and know what's actually in our inventory.
Yeah. Let me look at something real quick here. You might be able to at the moment.
Should we make like a Google spreadsheet?
Mike actually has access to Grig's character sheet at the moment, so you should be able to see that. So you can actually probably edit what's in the party funds, probably. But let me know.
Find it.
Maybe under bio.
Cool.
Thank you.
So he writes something down and gives it to you and smiles and be like, well, best be on my way. I've got a lot to do to make my new friends quite happy. He downs the rest of his drink, puts the mug on the table, steps back, twirls the walking stick.
Before you go,
Alright.
people stay here or campfire is recommended.
Oh, it depends. But you just be there at that spot at the right time, and you'll be fine. If you want to be getting rooms here, I would highly recommend it. I have one myself that I keep on layaway, as it were. You can talk to Bongo,
All right.
but I best be off to make sure I live up to my end of the bargain. He twirls his walking stick, bows gracefully, and exults stage left.
Olive pursues him as a bear.
Stop. Just be as obvious as we can about pursuing.
Just kidding. Olive retains her wild-shaped things for future use.
Yeah, so on the scroll that he gave you is a certain location in the Glen with directions on how to get there and a time when you should be there.
When is that time?
It's in about 2 hours.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah.
We should maybe.
It is.
I
It
thought
is
it was
shortly. Well, actually, it's because you arrived around noon. You've been talking for a little while. So it's probably in like it's probably in 2 hours. It is, just at dusk essentially.
Okay. I thought it was already like dusk, and so I was like, oh, tomorrow morning or something like that. Okay.
No, you're having a bit of a wee early afternoon nip. You were.
I mean, that's good for him. He's getting busy on it. Although now he's had some drinks. Well, I suppose we
We could have lesser restoration, Jim.
Spoot,
Get
with
rid
your
of that.
passive insight, you got the sense that he's someone who can hold his liquor pretty well.
Okay, good.
And throughout the couple of hours you were all chatting, he only had the 2 drinks. So.
All right.
Fair enough.
I mean, I know people who that can knock them unconscious.
Yeah. But anyway. So you have a couple hours to do whatever you want to do. Do you want to get rooms here for the evening?
It's up to you guys. Do you want to camp or do you want to get rooms?
I mean, I'm happy camping, but I could be in a room again as well.
I wouldn't mind camping either. It seems kind of nice in this area.
Olive votes for camping.
Camping.
Cool.
You're camping.
And I'm assuming we don't have to do watches if we're this close to the forest.
Chatty made it seem as though it was pretty like crime free in this particular area.
We can set up alarm just to be safe, but I think we'd be
Never fails.
fine.
Yeah.
No, it's always worked.
Does
So-
anyone still prepare that?
Greg, I think.
So do you want to find a campsite near the location you were given, or do you want to find it somewhere else? How do you want to go about this?
I think somewhere near where we were told to go seems reasonable, depending on where that is.
Yeah, I would say depending on what the location that we're supposed to be at is.
You can head there now and kind of scope it out.
Let's go see.
Yeah.
Is it a nice place to camp, or is it the middle of the town square?
No,
Right.
it is not the middle of the town square.
Or that bitch camping in Central Park.
It is actually kind of a nice little area. It's nice grassy like knoll kind of thing, or like a little bit of a lawn. There's some stones that are kind of natural, like natural seating in kind of a cluster area. Like it's like a big rock that has been leveled off in a couple different things. There is evidence of a pre-existing campfire, although it's very hard to detect. Adis is the only one who notices it. It's as if it's been cleared away and restored. It's right on the edge near the tree line. It's got an open view of the stars. It's actually very, very lovely. And off on one side, kind of away from the rock, the seating rock, as it were, there is a very nice place where you could easily set up your tent.
Sure.
Let's do it.
There's no do not camp on grass sign or anything.
Not that you notice, and you notice a lot.
All right. Watch, we're gonna be camping on sacred grass.
Cool.
Are there any?
Yeah.
Are there any animals about that we could ask advice of?
Make a perception check.
There's a gopher.
Or ask Adis.
No.
Nah.
It's like better than
No,
making
with
a
an 8, you
perception
don't
check.
see any animals in particular.
Fair.
They might steer clear of this area just because it's often so busy with all the people around.
Matt.
I just imagine Grid going like, "Hey, Adis, what's that? What's that? What's that?"
Greg
What's
has a
over there?
perception.
Well,
They don't need one with
That's
you
why they have to
around.
ask. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
What's over there? What's over there?
Cool. So yeah, you set up your tent. About maybe like an hour and a half or so after you get there, about a half hour before you were told to be there. Chatty comes by with a group of people. It says, you decided to camp out here, did you? It's a lovely spot.
That seems very nice. Is this a fine camping spot?
Oh, aye. Tis a beauty of one, if you ask my personal opinion of it. And quite handy that you managed to nab it when it would be to your advantage to do so. Now, allow me to make some introductions. And he kind of turns around and introduce. Yeah, make an insight check.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
How dare you?
How rude.
With a 15, Spoot, you get the
Demanding.
sense that he is referring to the fact that having your like base set up close to where he is going to bring the interested party is a good idea.
Okay. That was pretty straightforward, yeah.
He wasn't trying to hide it. It seems he just likes to be cute with his wording.
I gotcha.
Wonderful. So he introduces these folks as a few people he knows around town who are skilled at performing, particularly beautiful, haunting music from far-off lands. And if you happen to know of any in particular that you might want to teach them in the next half hour or so, they're quite quick on the uptake if you be catching my musical meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But I leave it
Nice.
to you. I must make another appointment in order to make your appointment. I'll be leaving you to it then.
Like lessons time?
And
Bye,
he
Chatty.
bows and walks away. Be seeing you soon, Mr. Spoot. And away he walks.
And away he walks. He loved it.
Yep.
Spook turns to Aces, goes, do you have any Sylvan songs that you know? Maybe you can teach these musicians how to play it.
I mean, they're old. The last time I played it was the Druid Enclave.
Oh, I don't know much about musicians.
You all are good at picking up music? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
imagine.
super talented.
They're all human. There's
Well, so
two men and two
Oh, yeah.
women.
No. Trash.
Two men and two women. And one of the women is like, we're the best in the Glen, at least as far as non-elven folk go.
That's fair.
Chatty said you needed something nice and beautiful, but if you have anything specific in mind, you can
Well,
play along.
I can try to play it, and you can. We'll see if this. I have a bit of stage fright, but
Oh, it's just
Can
I can
I,
give it a
like-
shot.
Can I like
Yeah, go for
pat Adis on the back and give him a little guidance?
Yeah, totally.
Does that help in this case?
Please, for the love of God.
That's just you can click the 4.
12.
Roll a d4.
You do get a D4.
Oh, you should roll it. Oh no, both of us rolled a 1.
Great. So 13. With a 13, you're able to play the song. You know, like it's not your jam. Like they can, like you, kind of have to restart a couple times, do a couple fumbling notes, but it's not bad. Like they listen through politely and they say, "Okay, yeah, something like this," and she starts strumming on her lute, and one of the men starts doing a little backbeat on the drums, and then the two others produce a flute and some strange looking instrument that looks like a flute, except it's got like a bulbous end on the far side. It kind of like opens up into a horn shape.
Is it like an oboe or a clarinet kind of shape?
It's a
like the
little
thing
different.
they play in the cantina.
It's a little different. It has a very like woody, ricochet-y kind of sound. It's not unpleasant. But they pick up the song very quickly and they are in it. And they do a beautiful rendition of it. And when they're done, they say, it's quite haunting in a way. Do you mind if we kind of play with it and tweak it? It's certainly going to get some attention.
Yeah, it's that's a song from my home. It's like an ancient Sylvan song.
Ah, wonderful. Well, then I am sure it will get whatever Chatty's got planned working. He said that we should make it look like we're friendly and exchanging music and just kind of sharing a campfire sort of deal. So
All right.
that's what we're going
I
to do
can-
for you.
I can also get cooking, make that look more friendly.
Sure, yeah. We're going to start playing, so it's not like we're playing out of nowhere. But when
Right.
we see Chatty, we'll strike up into your song.
Olive, get the rice.
All right, so
Rice and orcish spices. Here we go.
yeah, so this all
Oh,
commences.
the tea.
Yeah, you start brewing water for tea, rice, da da da. This all starts going. Soon enough, you get the music kind of changes kind of slowly, and you hear the familiar song of Adis's Sylvan melody, and begin to be played. And you see Chatty walking with an individual.
Olive's going to turn into a swarm of butterflies and make pretty butterfly art.
Okay.
Can you turn into a swarm?
Sure can.
Level 9. Swarm of insects.
What happens if one
Swarm
butterfly
of
dies?
The spell swarm. I thought you said you turn into.
I can wild shape into a swarm of insects.
Mm-hmm.
Any tiny insects.
Interesting.
Specifically, I've got the choice of beetles, centipedes, spiders, wasps, or generic insects.
You should be a mosquito at some point. I want to see that. That'd be funny. Just to make someone mad.
We're going to do a swarm of very beautiful butterflies.
Well, this time, yeah, no, I
so,
mean, like, just
so you turn into
someone you
butterflies.
hate.
You see Chatty walking this way with an individual, in a polite, low conversation, while the music is filling, and you notice that Chatty looks over, and the individual does as well. They have very kind of nondescript features, but very elegant and very beautiful, just by the simplicity of them. They are not harshly defined. They seem to flow very gracefully. Eyes of a deep, like, cerulean blue, and hair that's almost gold, just a few shades off of gold,
Mm-hmm.
and very delicate, kind of porcelain-colored skin, like a fine porcelain. But they approach and kind of stand a respectful distance away during the melody. And as this is going on, Adis, can you make a charisma save for me?
Ah, shit.
Ooh.
Not bad for me.
Okay, cool. I need Spoot to make a charisma save.
Oh boy, is this a save that Spook can guide on? Probably not.
No. And I need Defect to make a charisma save.
Oh boy, if only I got advantages. Oh, I got a +3.
Okay.
Oh, because it's cleric. Duh.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Cool. So this individual and Chatty stay a respectful distance away, until the music ends and the musicians kind of make like they're like gonna take a little bit of a break, kind of set their instruments down, and pass around a couple of drinks, for lack of a better term. They seem like they're hip flasks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Chatty uses this moment to approach with this individual. I see you, my friends Atis and Spoot and Defect and Grig.
I see you, Chatty.
I'll be seeing you also.
I see you.
If it would be amenable to an individual that I am here with, for them to be seen by you, provided one, of course, was willing to see them.
Happy to see them.
I'd be happy to see them.
In that
I would be happy
case,
to see them.
since you are so happy to see such a person, you could look right next to me, for example, and see a good friend of mine. Named Polses Kimarani.
Shit.
Sorry, had a dog interruption.
Uh,
I'll be seeing you, dog.
That might not be a polite form of address for
Yeah.
for high clerks.
God,
So
how did
he says, if you look next to me, you might see a friend of mine named Polses Kimarani.
I'd be happy to see them if they are willing to be seen by me.
Yeah,
So essentially, Chatty has given you a name to the individual next to him.
Shit.
Which means
This is so complicated.
which means you could use the simple "I see you" Polses.
I was
Oh,
about
okay.
to say I miswrote
Like he is
something about
making
the
it
name.
as easy as possible as he can for you.
Yeah, I was like trying to reword the greeting to like fit the name.
Yeah. If
I
you
would
remember
like to-
this, if you remember, the simplest greeting is "I see you." Name here.
Right.
Can I try something a little? I want to try something a little bold, perhaps.
Oh no, I would not
No.
right now. Maybe.
No, maybe not right now.
I
I think
Concern.
No, I
what,
love it. Let's do it.
don't
Adventurous, dangerous, even.
I want to say I see you, Pulsus, in Elvish.
Okay.
No, wait. We haven't been told that this person is Elvish, have we?
It is quite obvious this person is Elvish.
I don't know if that's too bold then.
I'm not assuming your race.
The large pointed ears and delicate features and long hair and spectacular skincare regimen lead to it's an Elvish individual.
That's fair. Okay, I will say I see you, Pulsus, and I'm forgetting the phrasing for how to do this.
I mean, that's all you need to do, but if you want to spice it up, you can.
I'm gonna try. I might be a little fumbly here, but I'm saying would be honored to maybe practice the Elven tongue if there would be anyone that would, happy to commune with me in such a language.
The response you get is, because Chatty said your name as well. I see you as well, Spoot. In Elvish, this is said. I see you as well, Spoot, and it is a pleasure to converse in a civilized tongue with a foreigner.
The pleasure is certainly all mine, I say in Elvish, if you can forgive my terrible pronunciation of a tongue that I am not quite fit to speak at all times.
It is understandable that one who is not born to a language might fumble around a bit from time to time in the practice of it. Yet the practice does cause improvement.
It's
At
a
least
great
when
honor.
one takes the proper care.
It is a great honor for me to be able to practice it. I must admit I have studied it much, as I admire the language greatly, but had not been able to use it in my travels, as you can see, and I kind of rib my companions at this point.
A slight smile crosses their mouth. It is a joy to be able to facilitate one's practice towards perfection.
Well, many thanks. What might bring someone out this way on such a fine evening? Is it the weather?
They kind of cough.
Oh, sorry. I lost track
and
of.
and Chatty goes, there are others, of course, to be seen if you. There are others who might be interested in seeing some people, provided they are wishing to speak, of course.
I see you, Pulses.
I see you, Atis.
Mighty. Shit. I hate this so much. This is so indirect and not the way I speak.
Welcome to Elves, baby.
Ah. God. Shit. I shouldn't have gone. Let's leave. Pack it up. We're going home. Shit. My train of thought's fucking gone.
I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did.
Seeing that you kind of fumble a bit, Pulses takes the initiative here a little bit. It is interesting for one to note that such an old-sounding song would come from such a modern encampment.
It is from my home.
Chatty has indeed shared some news that an individual such as yourself is from a place not local to the Verdenton Causeway or the surrounding areas. If one were willing to elaborate on such a story with details, I am sure it would be warmly received.
I am from a long lost, kind of maybe somewhat time-thrown tribe of hunters known as the Verdenton.
They kind of straighten up a little bit when you say that. The Verdenton? How interesting indeed. It has long been thought that all of them were long gone from Nuuli.
I woke up about a year ago in a cave. My partner woke up 20 years ago somewhere else, and we ran into an old commander of mine who has turned to glass, but still can move, but no senses in the middle of the arid wastes.
These are very interesting stories and claims. Certainly such information would be highly regarded if one were to share it appropriately.
I would be happy to.
This is good to know. And they kind of look around at Greg, who is chowing through a bowl of rice, not even acknowledging what's going on. So Pulsus does not press the issue.
That's on brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Greg also has pastries. I'm not sure.
I feel like Greg would have tried.
They might try at a later time, but right now they're currently shoveling orcish spiced rice into their maw.
Flutter, flutter.
Yeah. Chatty steps in again here. It would be quite interesting for friends of mine to be well acquainted with one another, and would fill me with much joy to facilitate my new friends and my old friends making headway to a productive resolution to any sort of arrangement that might be created by their meeting. To which Pulsus quickly replies, indeed, such accords between friends of one another can be rewarding in many facets. I, for one, see no harsh realities in... I, for one, see no harsh realities stemming from meetings made between friends. And official meetings are certainly easily swayed by casual acquaintance. To which Chatty replies, "Oh, truer words have never been spoken, my good friend. Now, there is much to do on this glorious eve. I, for one, would enjoy a quiet walk around the far side of the glen, if one were willing to accompany me, that is. I would find that pleasing." And then they turn to regard Spoot and Adis, who have talked to them, because Olive is still butterflies. Unless you shifted back.
No, fluttering about.
All right. Fair enough. It would be a joy to see you again, perhaps in 2 days, if you were to be available for such an appointment, at the door to Ethal Fen, provided one was interested in such a meeting.
I would be interested in such a meeting, and I thank you for the opportunity.
To which they respond in Elven, "A true pleasure it has been."
Likewise, and I hope to see you soon.
The feeling is indeed returned. May the stars watch over you this night, and the forest protect you. And they bow and walk away with Chatty.
I may say something like, "May the roads be safe in your travels," or something in Elvish.
Cool. It is appreciated.
Butterflies are going to spell out "I see you."
I don't know if this Orphan can do that, but okay, sure. Unfortunately, they have turned around, so
Yeah,
they don't see the message.
Fine.
Grinch, welcome back into the chat. It's been a while. Good to see you. Thank you back in. Thank you for coming back in. There's words there. There's an English language. I just messed it up a lot, but that's okay.
That's right. You should have heard my Elvish.
Indeed. Our friends have just had a mostly positive interaction with an elf who is representative of a culture that does not like questions. So you did pretty well for the most part, except one little gap.
I feel like when you're playing one of those
gaff. That's the word.
Yeah. I didn't even catch that. That's the sad thing. I feel like it's something Spoot might have done by accident, but
yeah, which is why Chatty picked up on it and jumped in to kind of quickly cover for you.
I know, and I wasn't quite sure actually. So maybe this is something obviously Chatty's helped us, and I've studied Elvish, obviously, and I'm sure I've read about them in books. Is there anything? I'm sure I'm rusty at it. Is there anything that knowledge-wise that I can bring back in our next meeting to kind of give me a little? I don't know, help me keep from making a fatal error.
I am having trouble with words tonight, Grinch. I don't know about everybody else, but I certainly am. Because I am trying to speak in a language without questions.
Flutter.
You can absolutely make a history check to see if you recall any information about the Verdenton Causeway Society that may have been recorded randomly in a book. It's pretty difficult, but you can try.
Fair enough. I haven't been able to figure out how to properly add it into D&D Beyond, but I would like to, on this roll, use the new feature. So I think whatever I roll here, I can just add a +5, if I'm understanding correctly.
Your Know the Truth feature?
Yeah, for Wisdom modifier, add it to any intelligence-based skill check.
Yep, you can do that a number of times. You can add your Wisdom modifier to an intelligence-based skill check a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest.
Oh.
So that would get a +5.
So a 20. Okay, cool.
20.
So with the 20, you don't get too many details, but you do know that the Verdentious Causeway is recorded as having been somehow immune to the effects of the arcane spell storms that ravaged Johanna and all of Nuuli. Somehow they rebuked it, and any storm that came by, they were able to ward off somehow. Nobody knows how, but it is a topic of much theory and debate in historical circles. And until recently, no one's been able to get in and ask questions. So,
Because they're not allowed.
yeah, that they're frowned upon.
Okay, interesting. I also wasn't sure if it would have been poor etiquette to bring up the mistake I made and ask for an apology, but perhaps humbling myself further in front of the elf might help.
You have a pretty good passive insight. You got the sense that while they would consider it extremely rude to be asked a direct question, given that you are a foreigner and it's your first night in town, and you did do pretty well for the most part, they might it might be one of those situations where it's like, oh, you just like accidentally like used a wrong pronoun or dead named someone but immediately recovered. You know, it's kind of like, it's a faux pas, but they knew it wasn't coming from a place of ill intent.
Fair enough.
Although you should try to avoid it.
Still embarrassing.
Yeah. And like, there's been nothing said that the elves don't appreciate an apology. In fact, they probably do.
Great. Noted.
Yeah. Great. So these
Friends, the musicians wandered off, or are they still playing music?
They took a little break while you were having a discussion, but they stick around. They play one more song kind of as like cover, and then they're kind of like, well, that seemed like a good success. Congratulations. Hope we were able to help. Have a good evening. And the four of them kind of walk off.
You as well. I hope you enjoyed the song.
Oh, we'll be adding it to our repertoire. Thanks for it.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Olive will cease being butterflies if there's no more music to dance to.
All right. You are no longer butterflies. So you all kind of now have a meeting in 2 days' time scheduled at the Ethal Fen, the big trade emporium, as it were, which is good news. You have an inn now. So you have some time to figure out exactly what you're going to try to shoot for, how you're going to get it going. But seems like Chatty came through for you, which is good news.
It's amazing.
Yay, Chatty.
Yep. So as you are all kind of like sitting down, having a bite to eat, Adis, you hear next to you, how do you know that song?
Right. Look.
You don't see anything.
Hello.
Hello, how do you know that song?
It's from my home.
Really?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Hold on, I forgot my homeland. How am I forgetting my whole backstory?
Lycos?
Lycos.
Yeah, Lycos. Jesus Christ.
You come from werewolf land.
Yeah, Lycos.
That's what I said. Bootstrap.
Never heard of it. But you know that song?
Yeah. I learned it growing up.
What else did you learn?
I have a couple of others that I can try to play. I'm not the most proficient.
I would like that. Why don't you do it? And a small little individual with tiny little wings, wearing kind of green leather armor and a little like golden like branch circlet kind of deal is kind of hovering there playing his wings. I'd like to hear that. Go for it.
All right.
And that's where we're going to take a short 5-minute break.
Oh, thank God.
All right.
My brain hurt.
Yeah, I'm not good at beating around the bush.
Neither am I. Actually, no,
Yeah.
very bad.
No.
I didn't even think about it in question form. I was trying to actually thought I was being indirect, being like, if someone were to tell me why they were out here tonight.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, isn't it? But we will talk about that and more and this new little individual when we come back right after this. So we will be right back in 5 minutes. Thank you everyone for being here, and we'll see you soon. Hello,
it's Matt.
everyone. We are back with a Matt and a Sarah and a Mike and a Tanner. Thank you for sticking with us while we had a little bio break. Much appreciated. Where we left off, a disembodied voice was just having a little private conversation with Adis and asking about the song that he had taught the musicians to play. And Adis admitted that he knew a few more, and the voice said, play them, prove it. And popped into existence, and it's this small, tiny little, like 6 to 8 inch tall figure with little wings, kind of green and blue leather, and a little like circlet of like very fine gold or tree branches or something, hovering, looking right at Adis with his arms crossed.
I guess here goes everything.
Yeah, go for it.
Not bad.
Some
Not bad.
guidance.
Cool.
I think it's a little late. I already rolled.
Yep. So with a 14,
No one wants any guidance.
You offered too late.
yeah, you play another little Lycosian bit of music, and he kind of listens to it and kind of bobs his head along to the beat and kind of, is kind of just hovering there, fluttering, kind of listening to it. That's not bad.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm no bard, but
Yeah, you're not many folks come this way other than the elves who know anything about Sylvan culture. And you say you learned that at home, huh?
yeah. And then I'll switch to Sylvan. I know a tad bit more as well.
Wow. And he responds in Sylvan. I guess you do. You're full of surprises, aren't you? What's your name?
Adis, and yours?
Ah, my name is Paduk. Paduk Quickwing.
No, I listened. He said he didn't ask me for my name. He said, "What is my name?"
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Also, this individual is clearly not an elf.
No, that
No,
wasn't my fear.
No. Can I have your name is very different than what's your name.
That's
Also
a good point.
Yes.
I'm listening. I fall for that once. I fell for that one time. Sorry, what did he say his name was? I didn't write that down.
Paduk Quickwing.
God, I have too many tabs open. Like Paduk?
Paduk, as in the wood.
Oh, I didn't know that's a wood.
Yep.
All right.
Padauk. Paduk.
Oh, that's not how I would have spelled that, but sure.
Well, that's how he spells it.
The word of the day.
Okay.
It's a very nice kind of reddy orangey looking wood once you mill it and everything. It's nice. It's pretty. I believe it's a hardwood as well.
Sure.
Maybe African or sub-Saharan? I'm not sure. Anyway, regardless, his name is Paduk.
It's lovely to meet you, Paduk.
Yeah, you too. Adis. That's an interesting name. And he kind of flies right up to your face. An interesting eye, too. How'd you get that?
Born like this?
He's
Really?
a wizard.
And he kind of like...
Olive, don't try to squish him.
Fluttering.
Sorry, he said interesting.
Yeah. His response is just interesting. And then he kind of like flutters down and kind of gets up and looks at the side of your face that has your mark. And how about this? And he just kind of pokes it.
I was born with that as well.
Flies back up to your face. You were born with a lot of strange things, Adis.
Well, 1,000 years ago was very strange.
You're 1,000 years old? And you're human? Come on.
Partially. spell storms, very chaotic, unstable. You don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, gotcha. So you were hit by one of the spell storms, and you got like flashed in time or something.
Frozen, temporarily.
Hell of a temporary. How long you been out of the ice?
About a year.
Ah, so you're all alone, huh? Nobody left?
No, we actually found my partner. He was unfrozen for about 20 years, and we found one of my old commanders who got turned to glass, but still able to move and speak through telepathy.
Wow. That sounds pretty lucky.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not the glass part, but finding your partner.
you can consider it luck, yes. Although, I mean, I wish it hadn't happened, the whole storm in the first place. But I
Yeah.
guess if that's the only outcome that happened.
But your village is gone, right? Like you don't have a town anymore.
The Everwood is gone. As far as I know, it's under
The
the sea.
Everwood. Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, as far as I've seen from at least trying to make maps work, it's all gone.
Oh
Here,
yeah.
and-
If
and
you're
I'll like
trying to reconcile geography from 1,000 years ago, it's not going to work.
I'll pull out my map from back home.
Oh yeah, this looks familiar, and he kind of looks at it. Kind of big, but yeah, it looks about right.
Yeah, so that's how I'm here, and how I know that music.
Where else you been?
What is it you cut out on my end?
Where else have you been?
The arid waste. We were around the broken lake.
What's that like? Is the lake actually broken?
I mean, there's spires running through it. Kind of interesting. We met some sea hags and a baby kraken.
Ew.
It didn't end well for them.
Well, you didn't meet this.
Really?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
So you guys are pretty tough. Is that what you're saying?
Fairly. We're competent.
All right.
We slew a dragon.
Really? What kind of dragon?
I'm wearing it.
And he kind of looks at your armor for the first time, really, and he kind of goes up and like touches it. Huh. Young blue dragon. Interesting.
Yeah, it killed one of our friends.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I thought this was only deserved.
A little macabre, but I guess I get that. So anyway, where'd you find this dragon?
The arid wastes.
Ooh, arid waste. That sounds interesting. What's that like?
Sandy.
Sand and deserts. And just
I've
so
never
much
been to a
sand.
desert, so I don't know what it's like.
I don't recommend it. It's very dry. It's very hot. We had a sand dune fall on us multiple times.
Why didn't you just fly away? Oh, right, human. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But I can see in the dark, which is nice.
Yeah, it's a handy skill. Not many of you
Yeah.
humans have that. That's pretty good.
No, it's very it's one thing I have.
Wow, seems like you have a lot. You have a partner and a commander and these other people. And he kind of looks and gestures vaguely to your friends, who he has totally ignored up until this point.
I see you.
Would you
Well,
And
of course you
he's-
do. I came out of invisibility. Of course you can see me.
That's a bit of a joke.
Has he been speaking Sylvan all this time?
When Avis spoke Sylvan, he spoke Sylvan.
So we haven't been able to understand a word he said.
Not
I'll switch and just these are my companions.
well, nice to meet you all. Who are you?
Defect.
I'm
Okay.
Spoot.
Stone defect, turtle spoot.
Turtle.
That's what I
But
said.
it's okay.
Turtle.
Oh,
Olive.
Olive. And
That's-
Greg introduces himself.
Oh, okay.
Greg. Got it.
I was gonna say the passed out one with the bowl on their face is Greg.
Oh, that tracks. Got it. Well, I'm Paduk Quickwing.
Nice to meet you, Paduk.
Nice to meet you too.
pleasure.
Y'all are kind of interesting. I appreciate that. I'm a lieutenant in the Sprite Guard, so you know,
Oh.
checking in on you.
Lieutenant Paduk.
That is interesting.
Yeah, you don't worry about the lieutenant part.
Do we
More
salute
kind of an
you,
honorary...
or?
Nah, it's more of an honorary position because I have certain skills that give me that rank, but that's okay.
I see.
Well, that's good.
We sure do feel safe with you and your team watching over the area here.
Well, that's our job. We're on my unit is on detail for the next couple of days. Gonna end probably in a week or so, maybe less. Depends on when the next group arrives in.
Well, I'm glad someone else is watching because would like to just get a full night's sleep and not get attacked in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Commander Oakroot keeps a tight lid on things here.
That's good. We just came through the glimmering void, and that was not fun.
The Glimmering Void? What's that like? Tell me all about it.
We also don't
Chimera.
recommend that.
Yeah, chimeras,
You
giants.
know a lot of places you
trolls.
don't recommend. Giants? You've seen a
it's very-
giant?
No, but we heard that we thankfully avoided them.
We
heard
saw
that they're
them.
out there.
We didn't encounter them, but we saw them.
Did we see them? I thought we didn't see them. I thought we saw trolls.
I thought we
No,
saw
wait,
them.
we've seen giants. No, or were they? No, we've seen giant weapons. I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see the actual giants.
Yeah, you have not yet encountered a giant, I don't think.
I thought we saw one in the distance and opted to go the other way.
You saw some flying things in the distance and
Maybe
opted to
right.
go the other way.
Okay.
Okay,
Which maybe they were giant.
fair.
Yeah, we ran into 5 chimera. We saw a bunch of bugbears,
Uh-huh.
some trolls, ogres.
Bulettes.
Oh, the bulettes.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of
Bule.
them. Yeah, the boule. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them almost ate me.
Oof.
After body slamming me multiple times. That was not fun.
Ouch. Yeah, I hear they're
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't
Spoot-
dissuade you from traveling. I mean, there are many beautiful things out there, to be fair.
I mean,
I
we've
mean,
been
they-
to some nice
dangerous.
places.
Well,
the stories just aren't
I'd
as good.
like to see, but I've got my job and I got,
I'm sure you can eventually travel. I mean, you have the flight and the invisibility, which definitely gives you a benefit over us walking and not being invisible.
Yeah, but I don't just want to.
Most of the time.
I just don't want to see things. I mean, I do want to see things, but I want to experience things and see creatures and people and places.
Well, I
Mostly
mean-
the getting someplace is nicer than the traveling there.
We've had
I
some nice
disagree.
views while traveling. We've had some nice moments. It's just
Stick to
We've-
the roads.
we've chosen some paths that were probably less than favorable. But
Yes.
But that makes it more interesting, right?
it can.
Very
I
true.
mean, the life and
Same.
death every day is not always exciting, but
But that is where the stories come from.
that is very true.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested in. I want to hear these things, like, and he kind of like flutters down and sits on the little rock. I want to hear everything y'all have done. Why don't you tell me what you've done? I want to hear it all.
Greg, you're up. This is
Oh.
all you, Greg.
Greg is great at
This
regaling
is
our
your
exploits.
moment to
All right.
shine.
The Grig action occurs, and Paduk listens to it all and asks questions. And
Greg is the main character that lands every death blow, though, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's definitely skewed heavily in their favor, but it's not. It's not exactly as you all remember it, but it's pretty close. But Paduk is enthralled and asking questions and engaging in the questions. He seems to be very into it.
Cool.
We also met the Frigid Duke.
Yes.
The Frigid Duke? Really?
Yeah. This is his sword as well.
It is. Pull it out. Let me see.
I'll pull out Cloud Cutter.
He flies like around it and kind of like spirals around it and like taps it and like looks at the pommel and the moonstone and everything in it. Wow, I guess you really did meet the Frigid Duke. Did you kill him?
No, he knighted me.
The Frigid Duke knighted you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave him to.
Well, what
Not
is
all
it?
dragons are meant to be slayed.
I'm the Wind of Words.
Huh.
I helped him find possibly new meaning and a way to end his exile.
Really? He's gonna get to go home.
Maybe, but that depends on what he does. He's supposed to earn the favor of his peers again, but he couldn't re-earn the favor of his peers back from the Feywilds. So maybe he was supposed to earn the favor of his new peers here in this realm that he was banished to.
Oh, that's tricky. That makes sense. That seems like something the Fey Court would do.
So, and then he knighted me and gave me this sword.
Wow. Good deal. Huh. Well, that's impressive. I don't care what anyone says. That's pretty good. I haven't been back to the Feywild in a long time, but it's all right here. Like, I mean, I like the work. I did for a while, but after you patrol the forest for a few hundred years, it's kind of like, well, what next, you know?
I totally understand that.
That's why I was so excited when they opened up the Verdenton Glen. I jumped at the chance to be on the Sprite Guard.
Yeah, I mean,
so many interesting people coming through.
There's so many villages out there. I mean, we passed through one village in the Glimmering Void that would have loved to become a trade town.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe you can start making caravans and caravan guard.
You would certainly be
Well.
the most interesting thing they'd seen since us.
That's very true. We are quite interesting.
You are like you're an eclectic group. We don't get many turtles or goblins, definitely. Humans come all the time. Not a couple of half orcs come with them, so you know they're kind of seen a bit. I've never seen one of you before, Defect. What are you anyway?
One of a kind. I am. Oh my god. All my other notes are on my other computer.
Arcanatron.
Thank you.
You know that you're the person you met called you Arcanatons.
Right. So Arcanaton.
Wow, never heard of that. And
Hey.
you're all stone and wood and
Yeah.
metal?
Yes. I am what you see before you.
A little bit of fur, a little bit of feather.
Interesting. And he kind of like...
he didn't have
it's
the
around.
fur and the feathers before I put little totems inside of him.
That is also true.
Really? Huh. And he kind of like plucks one of the hairs out of your shoulder blade. Huh, it's real too. That's weird.
He seems to be able to absorb magic.
That could be handy. And he kind of like keeps chattering with you for a while. And after a bit, he's engaging in like chit chat with you. You all hear, "Quick, what are you doing?" Uh-oh. and another sprite pops into view. This one is like more muscular and has like a tiny little scar across one of his eyes. Deep chestnut hair, is wearing like brown and black leather, very small, like probably from some sort of like squirrel or rodent or something. Commander, I'm just talking with my friends here.
Hello, Commander.
Hello. Aren't you on duty? Well, no, I'm actually off duty, so I'm using my personal time here. You're not giving them any secrets, are you? No, sir. Of course not. We're just talking about them mostly, where they've been, because it's kind of interesting, security, knowing where people are from is useful information. All right.
In
Well.
Sylvan, I'll just say, greetings, Commander.
He looks at you. He kind of nods, and in Sylvan replies, "Greetings, stranger. Make sure you stay on your best behavior while you're here. I'd hate to have to do something to make sure you leave."
Oh, of course. We're nothing but always well behaved.
I certainly hope so. And he turned back to Quickwing. "Well, Quickwing, it's your time. Do what you want, but you do have the day shift tomorrow, so be ready." Yes, Commander. Yes, sir. No worries, sir." "Good." And he flies up and off in a direction away. One thing you did notice, Adis specifically, it seems that Commander Oakroot there had a gem, like a small gem and a little tiny rapier. The gem seemed to be like on a necklace, and just a little tiny rapier.
Gem of power.
Who knows what it was, but he had one.
He flew away?
Yep.
That commander looked to have a tiny little gem around his neck. It was kind of cute.
Oh yeah, it's it's got an enchantment on it that lets him become a full-sized creature, like human, like elf or human-sized.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he very rarely uses it because, no real need to. But sometimes when he has to fight it, it's helpful.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that sounds very useful. We actually, Olive made Defect here grow very big one day.
Really?
I did. It
Yeah.
was kind of fun.
Mhm.
Fascinating.
He grew up to, I think, like 12 feet tall, something like that.
Wow,
He's
that's
still
impressive.
inside.
I've heard stories of the occasional big thing coming through trying to get into the forest, but I've never been on one of the sorties to ward it off, so I don't know.
Is there a lot that you have to fight around these parts?
There was like 100 or so years ago when the storms were still running, because people would try to flock to the Verdenton Causeway. All manner of creatures, but not so much the last 20, 25 years or so.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's been kind of a letdown, which is why this is so cool, because now people are allowed to come in, at least here, and they bring all kinds of ideas and music and art sometimes, but definitely all kinds of conversation and people talking in weird languages occasionally. It's fun.
He does know some music.
Yeah, he was doing a song earlier.
I think he's getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I play the bagpipes.
He gets a little nervous.
Really. Do you know the same songs that Adis knows?
I don't think so. I think they're different songs.
Different?
I grew
Okay.
up in a different place.
Where
What
did
does
you
an
grow up?
orcish song sound like?
Orcish songs are very discordant and unpleasant.
You don't remember when she played it
Bagpipes.
in the cave with the vampire?
Oh, right. I do remember now. I remember why I forgot. Just teasing.
Or are you?
Insight check. Good luck finding out.
Yeah, I'm terrible at insight.
Olive will pull out the bagpipes and play a song.
Cool. Make a performance check.
And
I'm gonna give you guidance.
I am proficient in the bagpipes, so I believe I get a +4 to that, so
Yep.
10.
Add your proficiency bonus. Cool. So a 10.
I'm gonna give you. Well, you have to be consenting. Can I give you guidance? Because I was gonna go for it anyway.
Sure.
All right. So roll a d4.
So 12.
Well, Olive rolls the d4, not Spoot.
All right, that's right.
Yeah, I remember. Okay.
So
Yeah.
14.
That's a crit.
So
That's a crit.
this is
Critical
the
guidance.
this is the best you all have heard Olive play her bagpipes.
Aww.
Oh yeah.
And it's not horrible.
Bad
Like
boy,
it's pretty pleasant, actually. And Paduk kind of like, yeah, all right. I've never heard that noise before, but like it's not bad. It's cool. Wow. So what is this thing anyway? And he kind of begins when you're done, kind of like climbing in one of the horns to kind of like investigate it.
Swap.
Ah!
What's that?
What the hell? That was uncalled for.
That's what it does. It makes noise.
Well, I knew that already. I was trying to see how
What?
it worked. Ah.
I'm so sorry.
Hmm.
I just realized now that you said that, I forgot to add my instrument proficiency to everything.
Well, then you did even better.
You
cool.
can ask the.
You can
Good
also
points.
make custom skills on D&D Beyond. So you could add like flute or bagpipes to it.
Yeah, I have that right here. I
In
think.
my extras, perhaps.
No, just
Yeah.
at the bottom of skills, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yep, you
Oh,
can
look at that.
click on skills and the little gear, manage, and
Look
make
at
something
that.
else.
Yeah, you
yeah.
just kind of set it to query, and then you can click whatever Jared wants you to click as the stat.
Yeah, it would be just a charisma performance check, except you'd get to add your proficiency bonus specifically to the instrument. So,
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Damn it.
Well, hey, now we remember, and that's part of the fun. Cool.
Memory.
Don't ask questions.
So yeah, Paduk spends a little while longer with you, and then he kind of like yawns a bit and says, "Well, I've got to get some rest, so maybe I'll see you around if you're still camping here or something in the next couple of days."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
All
well,
right.
I hope we come back this way.
Well, see you then, and don't get in trouble, cause then yeah, just don't get in trouble.
We'll try not to.
All right, bye. And
Bye.
he flies off into the forest.
He is quick.
Yeah, he moves pretty quickly.
He's adorable.
He's kind of adorable.
I'm glad you like him. He's a fun guy.
Not like my healings fairy that I summon.
Indeed. No, he's quite cheerful as opposed to your emo fairy sprite.
My rude fairy.
He's just a teenager. He's going through some stuff. Great. Get out of here, fly. Cool. So you can all get in a long rest. So you're going to have a couple of, like a full day and like a little bit of a day to, before your like scheduled meeting. So if there's anything you want to do or accomplish, in the Verdenton Glen, you may attempt to do so. I've got it in chat. Puberty is hard. And someday when he is no longer summoned to heal people, maybe he'll be a better fairy for it. I don't know.
One can hope.
Or
Might
maybe
be a
he just has an
stretch.
attitude problem.
That could also be it.
I mean, he does his job, but he's just not very empathetic about it.
Fair.
But yeah. So, is there anything you want to accomplish in these couple of days?
I'm
For-
No,
good.
I'm good.
I think
Okay.
I think we might want to go find some tea just in case.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, surely we
Right.
should investigate the
Yes.
tea.
Cool. You can make a group investigation check to find tea if everybody is invested in that.
How does that work again?
It means everybody rolls an investigation check, and then I see what the average is.
Defect
Well.
is all about finding the tea.
Defect is a tea expert now.
Damn.
Defect put some points in his intelligence.
Right?
Damn.
I suppose somebody in this group had
That's a
to.
9 for Olive, a natural 20 for Defect, a 20 for Adis, and a 3 for Spoon.
This is what teachers mean by the
So an 8 for Spoot with his.
this is what
use of
teachers
the
mean
blade.
by the low score drags down your grade.
Cool. Well, luckily, Defect got a natural 20, so that counts as 2 successes. So, good job. Yeah, so the next day, you all begin kind of spreading out looking for tea. Spoot and Olive, you kind of get into a conversation with a couple of merchants who you think is gonna, like, provide for you. And after a couple of hours kind of chatting with him and trying to talk him up, he's like, yeah, I don't have any tea.
Useless.
Rough him up, Olive.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Defect and Adis are kind of walking in another direction. Greg has scampered off somewhere unknown at this moment. Perhaps distracted by one of the many brightly colored carts or something that is lumbering through the area. But you find this little old man who just has a little, like, satchel on his back, and he's kind of in the process of sitting down. Oh no, we lost Mike. Womp womp. Oh,
So much for tea.
Here he comes.
I found it, guys.
Drank too much of his own tea.
Yeah. Oh, dearie my. The fun of internet connectivity. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sad.
No tea for you.
Well, as we hope to get to get him back, in the meantime, Adis, you and him quickly discover what this little old man has in his satchel is, in fact, a bunch of teas from his home, way down towards the end of the area known as the Dragon's Tail.
Ooh.
He claims to be a representative of a small fishing village on the southern tip of the tail.
Insight check.
Go for it.
I want to know if I'm buying the good stuff.
Yeah, you can roll that insight check.
22.
Yeah, he seems legit and above board.
All right, give me that.
Wow.
You said how?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your plus 12.
Expertise.
Yeah, he got some roguish proficiency.
Right. Damn rogues.
Listen, I got you on skill checks. Y'all are just on your own in combat.
Yeah, he is willing to sell you a few, like, tea bags, like, to make enough for, like, a couple of kettles. For, like, 2 kettles, he can sell you it. He does charge you 8 gold for it.
Okay, is that all he can spare?
Yeah. It seems like he has plans for the rest of it, but he's willing to sell you 2 teapots worth for
Selfish.
8
Okay.
gold.
I'll do it.
That's some very fancy tea.
I hand him the 8 gold.
All right, he hands you the two tea bags or satchels, sachets. What are they called?
I would. I don't know.
Tea bag.
Yeah, 2 doses of tea. That's what it gives you.
Yeah, that works. Do you know where we can get any more tea? Because no one seemed to be willing to give up any.
He says that a lot of people know that the elves like tea, and they use it as sort of a way into their good graces, or maybe as a bribe, or
Maybe tea is overdone.
as goods to like grease the wheels. Hopefully, not many people are successful because it seems the basic kind of teas don't do too well, but the more far off away and rarer stuff seems to work from time to time.
And I'm assuming that stuff is very hard to get a hand on.
He nods.
Well, worth a shot. Well, I appreciate the business.
Yeah, and he thanks you and kind of begins like rubbing his sore feet as if he's been walking for a long time.
That sucks. I got nothing for sore feet.
Yep.
I mean, Dragon's Tail is very far away.
Yeah, I got no remedies for corns.
Corns, blisters, ingrown toenails. It's all a mess down there. But yeah,
Gross.
you have acquired 2 doses of a foreign tea, if nothing else.
Far away tea.
Yep. Some southern dragon tail tea.
Well, I got nothing else.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else they want to accomplish?
I thought we were staying outside in the woods. I was going to walk around in the woods and take notes and look for herbs.
You
and stuff.
cannot go in the forest.
Stay away
Hey,
from the
we
tree
have
line.
Mike back.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
You should be.
Technical- I know, right?
Adis bought you some fancy tea.
Yeah, you found some really good tea.
Excellent.
So good job. But yeah. I mean, you are in the forest, but you have been warned to stay away from entering the forest proper. So,
Yeah. I don't know. I think we don't have enough time for me to make any health potions.
probably not.
That takes a while.
Takes a day, and you're not sure about finding the ingredients.
I know, because I can't go in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could search in town, but that's boring.
You could, but you also lost a few hours to this guy who was like trying to sell you everything but tea, but you were sure he had tea. And then he just finally gave up it because he realized you weren't going to buy anything else, and he was like, I don't have fucking tea. Get out of here.
And so I cursed him when we left. I'm now missing a
Whoa.
4th level spell slot.
Oh,
I'm just kidding, I
what
don't
curse
have
did
that.
you...
No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
Harsh.
I mean, if we're going to do that, I could blight him.
No, I bite is more fun.
I curse him never to enjoy the taste of tea again.
Oh no.
Ooh, how cruel.
All the tea in the world, and you can't enjoy it. I'm just kidding.
That's not likely to
May you
improve
live in
his
interesting times.
chances. That's not likely to improve the chances that he'll start carrying tea.
I've just got it in chat. Not the evil cleric energy.
Spicing it up.
Yeah.
Today we have
Here.
Evil Spoot.
Gearing up for that what if one-off episode we do later.
Yes.
Great. So, that being your big thing for the day, you accomplish that. Well done. You can camp the evening. Paduk does come by again that evening and kind of like, chats with you for a bit and hangs out and whatnot. Do you want to take
More
any?
bagpipes for him.
Do you want to take any kind of advantage to that? Like, do you want to see if you can get information out of him? Ask him any questions because like he seems to be quite friendly towards you. If you want to abuse that friendship, you can certainly try.
I don't know if abuse is the right word.
Abuse our
Utilize.
friendship with- abuse our friendship with Chatty.
Hey,
No,
would you like
although
to join our
Chatty
party?
Chatty definitely came by and like checked in with you all, but not for too long. He has other fish frying, as it were. Many pots on many fires.
Mm.
Fair enough. Can we try to recruit Baduk into our service like we did with a certain kobold?
Uh, like Paduk has a job, but he is, like he does like talk to you.
I mean, we could chat. I would love to chat with Baduk just to see if
Yeah, what do you
he
want to
knows
say?
anything about the elves. Has he had any conversation with them very much? Do they come around often?
Oh yeah, I've had all kinds of conversations with him.
I'm sure you've had some time to master the art of not being direct.
Yeah, but we kind of ignore it.
Wait, what do you ignore?
We ignore the whole like no questions thing. The elves kind
Oh,
of just accept it as, we're not from here, we're Fae, so we kind of get away with it. But
So you're just allowed to.
it's just part of our nature to like not be that rigid. Um, and the elves respect that, but you humanoids are held to a higher standard,
oh,
or not necessarily a higher standard, but to their standard, because
well, that
they don't judge you as different, just as lesser.
So, Paduk, if you remember Adis's hometown, what do you remember about these spell storms?
Well, I've never been there. I've just heard of it.
Sure, but if you've been around for a while, like what
Yeah.
do your folk talk about?
Or we talk about a
About-
lot. One thing elves are good for is gossip. They love gossip. You wouldn't believe. Like, I am sure that already every elf in the area knows about that music that you were playing. Like, you can't keep a secret around here.
Really?
Yeah. Elves are quite chatty in their way, which is kind of why we like them. But anyway. No,
except
we...
for the whole.
Hmm?
Oh, I mean, I think they're fascinating. Don't get me wrong. I'm just finding it far more difficult than I realized to actually converse with them. And I've studied the language.
Yeah. They're... Yeah, I imagine it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, it kind of hurts my head, to be honest.
Yeah, but hey, you're in their town.
Unfortunately.
Oh, I respect that.
But anyway, you were asking about spell storms. Well, I've been around here for a couple hundred years, doing my services and whatnot, and they're pretty nasty. They've come right up to the edge of the forest in the past, but the elves did some stuff, some magic, and rebukes them. So, but
What
That's pretty fancy.
do you know anything about that? Actually, that's quite fascinating.
I know a couple things, but I'm not really supposed to talk about it.
Oh, that's fair. I respect that. Well,
That
do you
sounds
have
really
any?
cool, though. Like, did it like make sparkles and stuff when they did it? Like, did it look cool?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it just kind of stopped, and then like you see the swirling vortexes inside, and little sparkly things flying around in there sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, we heard there's sometimes rocks that fall out of them, or like special stones.
That would make sense. That's probably what you see the sparkly things flying around in them. We didn't pay them too much mind. We were there in case something got through, but most of the time we just kind of sat back and watched.
I bet it was spectacular to see.
It was interesting and a nice change.
I bet.
Yeah.
What happens? Like, do they just completely avoid the area, or does it like hit like a wall, more or less?
Well, they do come like right up to the border, and then they just stop and kind of swirl around and over, but they never actually stop and do any damage or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, elven
Boy,
magic,
that would
right?
that would have been useful a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was useful for the 1,000 years that the elves had it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than 1,000 years. I'm not sure the exact year they cast it, but doesn't matter.
like the sparkly bits? Like, did they just like? Was it like shooting stars?
Sometimes, but usually it was more just like gemstones, kind of like flying through the air, or like sometimes there was like different colored lightning.
I mean,
That's
that sounds
interesting.
pretty spectacular. If you ask me, that's not something you see every day.
No, definitely not. Which is why they were so interesting to watch. And there was a nice change of pace when they would come by. Very interesting for the first. Well, every time it happened for like about 178 years or so.
I imagine it gets old after a while.
Well, they're always different, so it's kind of cool.
Fascinating indeed.
Yeah, I liked it.
Hmm.
I mean, I know they're like really destructive, horrible things, and did a lot of damage all across the world and the continent. But for the most part, here, like it was fine.
Yeah, you must admit it is kind of fascinating that what they were capable of doing. I mean, destructive and terrifying, certainly, but
But if you could be outside watching it,
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was a heavy price to pay for that, but it worked.
There was a heavy price to pay with that.
Oh, I didn't mean. Oh,
It's
sorry.
okay.
Ooh,
You're fine.
okay. I didn't mean to like bring up any like. I'm sorry. Let's talk about something else. And he kind of skirts off the topic and begins, chit chatting about other things. He still asks
Well-
lots of questions about like you all.
well, if you ever get to travel, I don't care for the cities so much myself to spend too much time in them, but we've been to a couple of interesting cities. Fay Harbor is one that we've spent a lot of time in. I'm sure you'll see lots of people and hear lots of stories there. Great lake, good fish.
it's a very nice lake.
I'd love to go there. I really would. Adis was telling me a little bit about it last night, so I'd definitely love to hear what you guys think of it.
Great
Well,
fish.
I grew up on the shores
Fish.
of that lake. So I'm pretty fond of, or I lived for many years on the shores of that lake. So
In
it's
Fay
home,
Harbor?
not outside of Fay Harbor, but on the same lake. It's a pretty big lake, so there's a bunch of towns around it.
Gotcha. So it's like the Divide,
Sort of.
except like a lake. I mean, I know what a lake is, but
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's big-ish.
It's
cool.
What else was I gonna say? Just lost my train of thought. Do.
spoot.
Oh, there's an excellent library there. If you do have to spend some time in the city, can recommend. You'll have
Oh,
to say
yes.
hey to Sita Malor for me.
A library, huh? Well, I'm sure
Not
it's
sure if
very
that's
quaint.
your thing.
I got nothing.
Oh,
No,
it's-
I like libraries, but I'm sure it's very quaint.
I don't know if quaint's the right word. I was kind of impressed with it.
Well,
Not everybody's a bookie like you.
well,
enough.
you have to understand. In Tiri Ethal, the capital of the Causeway, they have the Venerable Athenium, and that's a library.
Aha.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
What is it called?
The Venerable Athenium.
That
Is
is
it?
quite the name.
Oh, I would love to get into that.
Yeah, it's it's kind of grown out of a bunch of trees, like most of the elven buildings in Tiri Ethal are. They're kind of silvery in shape and color, a lot of them. Kind of like a silver birch kind of bark. It's really interesting. It is pretty. But the Athenium is massive, for lack of a better word. It's got to be 400 feet tall, and it takes a good 30 minutes to fly around the base of it.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, inside it's just rows and rows and piles of books and floors of books and scrolls and shelves and tomes and artifacts and all kinds of information about all sorts of things. Elves working around in there all the time. It's got a lot of stuff in there.
Cool.
Yeah. It is a trove
Yeah.
of books if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, there are a few that are interesting. Not as much about travel that's accurate, I imagine these days, though. But some good, like, travel books from about 1,000 or so years ago.
Are any of them animated?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I haven't read every book.
Are we still carrying around some animated books?
I think I killed them all, or we gave them to Seda.
Yeah,
Fair.
you gave them away, and only one of them was still like actively animated by that point because you had destroyed them all the rest.
Yeah, I don't think we have any more animated smut books.
Yeah, I'm carrying a generic book, but I don't think it's anything particularly interesting.
Yeah.
It's not animated. But it was a cool book. It was a book. Animated books might be interesting to a sprite.
Possibly. I mean,
When you say
lots of
animated, do
different
you mean like drawn, or do you mean like they move?
No, I mean like they attacked us.
Oh, well, there's definitely none of those in the library. If there were, they would have been like dispelled because nobody wants like to be attacked in the library. That's just rude.
I mean,
Yeah.
True.
One of them was a very rare copy of Tusk Glove.
Ooh, Tusk Glove. I haven't read that. What's that about?
it's very very rare and hard to come by.
Well, maybe I'll have to try to find a copy in the Athenaeum sometime.
I don't think they have it.
I don't know. It's in the ruined village. Maybe because they had it. It might be there.
Who's to say?
I don't know if I'm overstepping too much here, Padunk, with asking, but
It's Paduke, actually.
Paduk, I'm so sorry. I must admit I'm quite nervous speaking to the elves any further since I've already made one faux pas, so to speak. Do you have any? Well, I guess you don't really have any advice, do you? Because you pretty much ignore the questions thing.
Well, we do, but that doesn't mean we don't have advice.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Be mindful of what you say. Once you get past the introduction, that's the hard part. Just instead of asking questions, make it a statement, but not a demand.
Would saying something as simple as "I would love to know," and then
Yeah, it
describing
would
some
be good to
knowledge?
know if other people like the weather today. Like that's, it's like child speak, but it's close enough.
That's a good way to look at it. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so just
and
a
like,
generalized statement to a group of people rather than a direct question at a direct individual.
correct.
All right, that's. Still, I hate it.
Oh, it's going to be difficult, but I think maybe I should be up for the challenge.
Yeah. I am confident that you guys, I mean, you've defeated a dragon and a kraken and sea hags and this oligar guy and all this other stuff you've told me about. I'm sure you can talk to some elves.
Conversation's a little bit different than combat.
A little,
It's kind of.
but just think of you know what they say. The words are the weapon of the quick-witted.
And
We are not.
I was going to say, we have the wind of words with us, so what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
So
true.
much could go wrong. It depends if Tanner's brain is functioning.
Guess what, Adis? You get to be the spokesperson.
You'll be
This is
fine.
why I wish. Charisma's a dump stat.
Don't worry, I'll leave tongues as a prepared spell and spoot when I'm gone. So
Lord.
Well, yeah.
I don't
Well.
want to take up too much of your time.
No. I enjoyed these conversations. Hopefully, I'll get to chat with you some more. Patrol's interesting, but it's kind of boring at the same time. Like, it's only interesting when new people come around. Although, following Chatty around can be fun.
I bet.
Oh,
He
I'm
seems
so
to know
sure.
everybody.
Oh, he does, and he's constantly watched by the commander. The commander always has someone on him.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
I mean,
Why
never
is that?
he's never caused any trouble. He's always, we have noticed that he knows a lot for someone who's only been here for like a year. Like a lot more than he should. And he talks to a lot of people, but still, like all those people shouldn't have all that information. So it's interesting. So the commander like just keeps tabs on him. Mostly he just like helps people, but sometimes he gives advice to people. Like that's kind of how he makes his living around here. But he's been also known to give out flawed advice to bad people. So we kind of just let him do his thing.
I mean, that doesn't seem like a bad thing.
It's not really. Because, like we get a sense of everybody who comes through here. And that's part of our job,
And what are you generally patrolling against? Do you have a lot of incursions?
Not so much these days, but with the Glen being opened up, it's precautionary and just to make sure nobody tries to like sneak in and like steal something or assassinate the king or whatever,
That's fair.
Nobody picks the forbidden berries, all this kind of stuff.
I see.
Spook's a Grig.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna look over at Spoot with the Ingrid at the picking the berries.
So it's pretty much just a routine kind of patrol kind of a thing. It's not very exciting.
No, but the exciting part is like checking people out and like investigating and listening to them talk and like because occasionally we do get people who try to like weasel their way in and sneak in with like ulterior motives, and so that's kind of fun to bust up. And those kind of people are generally the ones that Chatty picks up on and gives them bad advice, so they get kicked out anyway.
Ah.
So it's a very proactive bad advice.
Yeah, like there was a guy a couple months back who came in, ostensibly trying to sell this kind of fancy new flour or sugar or something. And he was totally just after like weapon secrets and magic secrets and stuff. So he was lying through his teeth and to anyone in town. And Chatty somehow saw right through it and gave him the advice on who to go up and start demanding answers from, saying that elves like really appreciated a forceful presence. Yeah, that guy got ousted right quick.
All right.
I bet.
Yeah, which it's just So like we kind of let Chatty do his own thing because it doesn't really cause any damage, doesn't hurt anybody, but it's just interesting.
You said that he knows more than he should for having been here for so little time?
Yeah, he does.
Interesting. No one knows why?
I mean, I don't. Nobody's told me if they know, and this is the hard place to keep a secret. But somehow Chatty manages to.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now my curiosity is piqued.
I mean, he's a nice guy. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, as far as I can tell.
That doesn't have to have a mean bone. It's just curious.
Oh, definitely.
He might tell you for the right price.
You might.
Who knows? Every man's got to make a living, I suppose, or female or person. I don't know. However it works.
Individual.
Yeah, everybody.
Every humanoid.
Or buddy.
I mean, I'm not a humanoid, so
Fair.
That's fair.
I still work. I have a job. He points back to the forest.
Do you get paid though?
Yeah, not like in coins or whatever, but we don't really use coins, so it's like whatever.
What
Through all this conversation, you all have noticed that he does that. Similarly to the commander, Paduk does have a small little medallion on it with a little carving that's very, very difficult to see. But you notice that it's there.
Does that make you big?
No, not at all. It's just a symbol of my devotion to my goddess. That's all.
Oh,
Who is your goddess?
Helena.
religion check.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna use another know the truth expenditure.
Okay.
Now that you know you have those.
I can't seem to make it work anymore, but I will know that I did. Wow, that sucks.
So an 18 or 17?
Actually, that is with the +5. I added it, and I can't take it away now. It's kind of I fucked up.
All right.
I'll figure it out. But that
Okay.
is correct because I'm using in charge, or I would if I could press the charge thing, which is not letting me do anymore.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out. But cool. So with a 12, you know that Alana is a nature goddess. She's like big on unicorns and like deep forests and stuff. But that's about the best you got.
I like unicorns.
But you don't know that, do you?
No.
No.
She does not know if she likes unicorns.
Spoot goes, "Who told you? Are you reading my mind?" Ah, yes, Alana.
Get out of my head.
I must admit, I don't know much about her. Goddess of nature, though.
Yeah.
Unicorns are pretty important.
Yeah, they're her sacred being, and there's a lot of them in the Glen or in the Causeway if you know where you're looking.
Oh,
Is
that's
there
amazing.
now?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see one. It'd be incredible.
Well, they don't come around here too much because unknown people, but there's a herd that likes to roam through Tiri Ethal pretty regularly. They kind of go wherever they want. But yeah, she's the goddess of the deep woods. Like there's a few like coastal goddesses and like glens and stuff, but Alana's like deep woods, kind of true nature magic. Or not nature magic, but nature devotion, I suppose. I focus more on like I'm my group's medic, so that's what I do.
Oh, that's incredible. I'm sort of the same in our group, I suppose.
Oh,
I help.
well that's
Well,
good.
we do all share the responsibilities, I must admit. But
Everybody has a bit of magic, but defect.
ooh,
Well,
Although
don't
defect
say it that way.
might be magic in his own respect.
Hey, nothing wrong with no magic. There's elves that I know that don't really have magic.
I mean, I feel like to create him, there had to be some sort of magic there.
I mean, he is an Arcanaton, apparently. That's
yeah,
arcane.
I don't know what that means, but who
We
knows?
don't really either, but it has arcane in it, so...
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I should be going. It's been fun. I'll see you around. And he kind of flitters off.
Okay, bye!
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye. So Padook flies off. And you can all get some rest for your meeting tomorrow if you want.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh boy.
Much resting. Resting good.
Yeah.
We love a long rest.
Everybody does. So you all get a long rest. Spoot. As you rest.
Getting the notes ready.
I was like, he seems very startled by that.
Yeah.
Listen, anytime you're long resting and then your name specifically gets called out, it is not a good time.
Spoot, you cannot get to sleep tonight.
Or it's a really good time, depending.
Spoot. You fall asleep pretty early. And having some nice, spoot dreams. Until you find yourself at a crossroad. And walking up from one of the directions comes a familiar looking silver skinned woman. With large feathered wings and long flowing silver hair and golden eyes. Spoot. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Your-
Comforting.
Yes, your travels have brought you many places. And you've learned much. That's good. You've learned forgotten, rare lore. You've learned new places, seen horizons that you never thought you would. It's impressive. Hi, Bihashi. Thanks for being in chat.
What is that?
Uh,
Who is Pia?
It's
I'm
the
just
first
kidding.
chat from a viewer, so gotta love it.
Ooh.
Congrats.
She continues. You have become wise and intelligent, caring. You've gained an ability to reason and see the far-reaching consequences of actions that you and your friends take. And you can glimpse the myriad paths of probability that lay out before you. We're very impressed.
I'm honored.
Glad. The Horizon Walker feels that, well, to put it frankly, you must quest eastwards.
Eastward.
At once.
Oh.
Follow in his
Oh.
footsteps, Boot. Listen. Watch. Learn. I understand that this is abrupt. And I understand that you would have some legitimate concerns for your safety and that of your friends. And that's fair. For every path is fraught with challenge. It's the nature of the unknown road. One thing I can promise you is that important information lies eastwards that you will need if you and your friends are to weather the coming shadows that are creeping just below the horizon. We can sense the darkness, Boot. It's there, and it's coming.
Sorry, I'm jotting this down.
Go east.
Too long, didn't read. Get out of here. Spoot will take a moment without saying anything.
She patiently waits.
A long beat. I understand, and I know that I must do this. But I am afraid, I think. Maybe not so much. Well, no. I'm a little afraid to venture on my own, I must admit. I've come to rely on my friends and these companions. And I'm also afraid to leave them. Because I know how dangerous it is out there. I'm not saying I'm the only thing that keeps them alive, certainly, but I think we work well together. I don't know if this is too much to ask, but can y'all keep an eye on them while I'm gone?
She leans down because she is significantly taller than you and kind of cups your face in her silver hands. Oh, Spoot. We fear for your safety as well. And we will happily watch over you and your friends as much as we can. However, your fear, while understandable, is something you must face. The Horizon Walker bids us travel, and so we do. If it brings you comfort, it is often said that where a well-armed group would be noticed and observed and taken note of, a single solitary traveler is often overlooked and unmolested. Especially one who is as introspective and quiet as you are. Oh, Spoot. I will not say that it is going to be a safe and uneventful journey for you. I do not know, but I doubt it. But the Horizon Walker would not guide you directly to your doom. The Horizon Walker desires there to be a horizon and paths unending, to travel into the light and even into the dark, to learn what is there, to see what is there. Spoot, keep your eyes and ears open. Keep your senses sharp, aware, and make haste. The darkness is looming just beyond the horizon, and the tidings of shadows are rarely pleasant.
I think maybe I knew somewhere that this day might come, and I am so glad to hear of your faith in me. So I welcome this challenge.
Our faith
And I
is
do
well
think-
placed, for it is well earned.
I will make preparations to leave at once, and I ask that you just give me a moment of time, maybe to leave a note behind. Maybe explaining in some short way my abrupt absence. Absent. Leaving.
Of course, Spoot. And I am sure and confident that the Horizon Walker will make sure that your paths with your friends cross again. It may take time, but you are a wise, personable turtle, and fully capable of learning whatever it is you must learn to aid your friends. You are going eastwards into unknown forests, rugged mountains, strange cities, near dangerous oceans and burning embers of towering trees. It will be a trial and a trek. But we know that you, Spoot, are the right turtle for the job.
I think Spoot blushes a little bit.
She reaches out a hand and gently brushes your cheek and kind of grips your shoulder with one hand. Wake now, brave Spoot, for you have no time for long farewells, so make them quick, for you must be off. Haste will be your ally. And she pulls back and turns and walks off down a divergent path, and as she does so, she quickly fades from view.
I'd like to think that as I'm waking up, the words that I'm speaking as I wake, I'm speaking as if I would be speaking to her, and I just say, please watch over them for me as I wake up.
As you wake, you get a sense of calm assuredness, and like the kind you get when someone makes you a promise that you trust. That feeling kind of swells in your chest and heart for a moment. But you have awakened in the tent. Your friends are all asleep around you. It is still very early.
Very early in the night or early in the morning?
Like early in the morning. Like you've barely gotten a long rest.
Now I'm debating on whether I should wake them. Do I get the sense of urgency in the sense that, like, if I take the time to wake them and try to explain that I may be...
Something, as you contemplate this, something pulls at you to look outside the tent.
Okay. Look outside the tent.
You look out upon the open road outside the tent, and no one is moving. No one is up at this time of night. It's very safe here, and it's very early, so nobody is like waking up to be on guard or anything that you see. But you see a cloaked figure, obviously a traveler with kind of ratty edges around the bottom and bare feet, hood up, a simple walking stick, very plain kind of clothes, brown cloak. And he turns his head towards you, and you can feel him looking directly at you, Spoot, beckoning you, but you cannot see his face.
Oh gosh, at the risk of being disrespectful, Spoot will pull out his notebook, write the quickest note he's written in his life, hastily scribbled, probably barely legible, saying something along the lines of, "I urgently had to leave. I'm so sorry. I have no time to explain. Please take care, and I will check in." Or something. I don't know. Just coming up to that. Whatever I think of at the moment. I rip the notebook page out of my book. I drop it on the floor, maybe nearest whoever's bedroll is closest to me, and I go on down the road with my stuff.
As you exit, you look around for the figure, and the figure has moved almost impossibly far from the few moments you took to scrawl your note. You still see it, but it's like every time you blink, it's further and further away. But it still occasionally turns back and looks at you, and you can feel this gaze you can't see beckoning you to follow.
Big turtle sigh, and I start hoofing it as fast as I can move.
And so Spoot crests away into the early morning, into the early morning, following this figure of unknown origin. And that's where we'll end tonight's session of Nuuli Forged.
Oop. Bye, Spoot.
Oh.
Death Cleric time.
A new member has appeared in your party.
Indeed. Unfortunately, Matt is going to be taking some time away from the game, but for a very lovely reason, if you want to share that reason.
I'm leaving the country.
Which is a good thing.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only partially true. So we'll be gone for a little while, making preparations to get married in January, and so I will be out of the country for a little bit. Possibly through the end of February. So it might be quite some time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunate. We loved having you, and we know you'll be back, but we're gonna miss you, buddy.
I know. I hate it because I've been gone so much recently, and I'm not ready to leave, certainly. But it seemed better than, sporadic possible appearances scattered. So.
Yeah. But congratulations on your upcoming nuptials.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will miss everyone dearly. I will try to check in as much as I can watching the game. Maybe sending to Grig every now and then, just to, mess with you.
Yeah, and you can totally use the various means of communication we have to send a message or whatnot. I've got it. I've got it in chat, and Biahashi in chat. Both offer their congratulations to you.
Well, thank you both. Please keep watching, even though I'm leaving. I'm teasing.
One less moral compass in the party.
Yeah. Good grief. Who knows what's going to happen now?
Well, you certainly will be missed, and I'm glad you could come tonight to make this good little goodbye for Spoot.
Yay!
I know. Thank you. I didn't know what was going to happen, by the way. This was totally... I mean, I knew that I'd have to leave. I didn't know what Jared had prepared, so this was nice.
Yeah. Narrative. Who knew?
Now I'm scared.
It actually does serve the narrative, so I'm okay. We'll hope Spoot survives his travels.
Every day, Cher's just gonna be like, "I need you to roll a d100."
Dun dun dun. No, but let's go around. Say some goodbyes. Plug anything you would like to plug, and yeah, I'll figure out who we're gonna raid. Let's start with the turtle of the hour with all the power. Spoot.
Goodbye.
Aww.
I'm so sad. I'm level 9, and you don't get to see any of my cool stuff.
Aw.
That's all right. I'm pretty sure I'll be here for a while. At level 9, that is. Thank you all so much for having me, and I'm saying this to the party, and for putting up with the times I haven't been here. It's been a pleasure. I will miss you all. Thank you to everyone watching, and I will see you soon.
Yeah, glorious. Moving on down to Adis.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. My camera crapped out there, but I got a new one coming in Monday, so
Woohoo!
Woo.
yeah.
We did get to see you for a little while. We're convinced you
Yeah.
still exist.
Yes, I do still exist.
Excellent. Wonderful news. Looking forward to seeing your smiling face for the full session.
Right. Unachievable goal, just like me making anything in combat.
Hopping along to Olive.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching. Bye, Spoot. Have a good time. Enjoy the East. The flail snails. Not great.
Yeah,
Skip
none of you
those.
none of you have talked to Olive about what the hell she was doing while she was gone. So that's
Nah.
a fun thing.
Oh, that's so true. We really haven't. You're right.
Nah.
For the worst. For the worst
Yeah,
of
whatever.
narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, safe travels. See you soon. Okay, bye.
All right.
I got nothing.
And
Until-
Defect.
Yeah, that leaves me. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Spoot, for jumping in. We're gonna miss you, buddy. But again, congrats to you. And to everyone else, we'll see you next time.
Yep. And I have been Jared, your humble dungeon master here on Nuuli Forged. Don't forget that you can check us out on social media and follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube, right at Nuuli Forged. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, like and comment and share the video, and please follow us here on Twitch. Bring your friends. We love having new friends and new people to watch and share this adventure with. So bring it on. And Matt and I, if you like our dulcet tones, have a podcast that is now available beyond on all podcast platforms on YouTube. Episode 2 of our podcast, Mid-Level Adventurers, just released today on YouTube. So you can check that out. It will release every Wednesday a new episode until we're out or we make new stuff, which obviously is going to be a bit delayed because of wonderful wedding things. So we're going to raid the dungeon run. They're playing some D&D over there, which will be fun and exciting. But thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you, I've Got It. Thank you, Biyahashi. Bihayashi? I'm going to say that wrong all the time. But thank you, Biyahashi. See, I can't do it. Can I say Yashi? Are you going to hate me if I call you Yashi? But thank you. And thank you, Grinch, for coming in tonight as well. And I've Got It for resubscribing for 9 months. We have a glorious little Nuuli baby.
Yay.
So thank you all very much for joining us. I think we'll be back next week with a reduced crew. I have to confirm that, but I think we'll be back next week, which will be our last episode of the year, unless this week is, and then in which case I apologize. So in preparation, if we don't see you next week, have a glorious holidays, whatever you celebrate, and a pleasant, safe New Year's, and we will see you next time back on Nuuli. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Peace.